Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to MANUU Connect. So today we are going to continue our series of web development. So this would be the third video in the series of web dev where in the last video I've covered the Git and GitHub basics and I have built a simple project as well. If you have any questions, you can ask me. And so today I'm continuing to the HTML series. This is the HTML for beginner video, right? So in this video I'll be covering the complete HTML, different types of tags, elements, right? Why we use HTML, semantic tags, how HTMLs, how to use HTMLs, which makes your page SEO friendly, right? SEO means search engine optimization, right? So in this video, I'll be covering each and everything. Don't worry about those things, right? So now let's talk about HTML first. Why HTML? So in the last video, what I've told you that HTML is used for why? This is used for the structure, for creating the structure, right? Whenever we're building any website, what we do, we use HTML to create the structure, right? So structure is how we design, right? Where will be the the heading? Where will be the uh, footer, right? Different forms, anything, right? Whatever we decide to put in the website, we use HTML over here, right? Yeah. So basically, the structure part, right? The skeleton part is filled using the HTML here. So now let's talk about different types of tags, right? Different types of elements. Okay, everything. So now let's talk about tags here. Okay, tags and semantic tags. Okay, so semantic tags. Let's suppose we have a website. Again, let's take an example of the last website like Flipkart, what we have built in the first video. So we have a website which is a Flipkart. So in the Flipkart, what we have the header section, right? This is what the header section, right? And in the bottom we have what the footer section, right? We can call that footer, right? That was header. This is footer, right? Let's suppose this is called the uh, main section. Let's suppose we have this is a main section and this is a section, right, for any particular thing or anything. So these things, let's take a header gives a sensible meaning that okay, this is the header part, right? Head is what always in the top right, the footer in the bottom right, always in the footer. So what HTML semantic element says that there's a specific meaning, right, for a particular tag, right? So in the HTML, what we have tags like footer, right? We have a tag called footer tag, right? So footer is used for what? For making what the div or the container in the footer, right? Why we use footer in, like, let's see, let's take an example of another thing called, let's suppose we have nav, right? In the nav we have links, right? Links in the like short links. We have login buttons. We have redirection links. Let's suppose about page link, and we have contact links, right? So these things gives okay. In a particular area, we'll put a specific things, right? In the footer, we put like website simple details, right? And in the name we put short links, right? So this gives the meaningful meanings of something, right? So that's why semantic elements, semantic tags are used, right? And these semantics elements and tags why needed, these are helpful in SEO. Whenever you're working with a website, whenever you're building a website, SEO matters. Like let's suppose a website which is a blog website, right? So what you want, whenever a people search for a specific blog, you want your website should be ranked, right? So if you use properly semantic tags, so your website will be definitely ranked on top, right? Top search results, right? Because the Google carousels, like who's scanning the entire thousands of websites, they knows, right, specific meaning of a particular uh, website, right? That's why these things are used. Okay. So this is the meaning. We have a text and we have semantic text, right? Simple. Okay. In the text, what we get section, right? Section is a tag. We have a div, right? We have image, right? For image, using the image uploading in the website, right? Whenever we want to view an image in the website, we use img tag, right? What we have img tag. Okay. So these are used. Okay, these are the text. Now let's take an example of building a simple website. Okay, and I'll show you how to do those things. Right. Before moving ahead, I would like to tell you again that if you are starting your HTML journey, don't have any idea, I would highly recommend you to get started with the W3 school, right? W3 school where you can start your learning like very organized way, right? You will see everything in detail and practice, right? Complete. So what you should do, you should start from W3 school, one of the best, one of the most visited website for all the things in the tech, right? So yeah, I think you should, and I highly recommend you. Just get start. Go for the introductions. It will say everything whatever I taught you, that why we use HTML, the full form, right? Everything in detail, and make your notes. Try to there's a inbuilt compiler, right? You can run and try your own, try the codes as well, right? Okay. Now let's move to the next thing. Let's see. We have heading text, right? We have six heading tags, H1 to S6, right? So H1 is the bigger one. There's a fixed size, right? A text size is, let's suppose this is 44 pixel, right? So if you go for S6, it will downgrade the pixel size to, let's suppose, 22 pixels by default. You can attach a class, or you can write your CSS directly, right? Don't worry, I'll tell you how to use. These are for the headings, right? Whenever we need the heading purpose, we use H1 to S6, right? And we have another tag called P, right? P for paragraph, right? These are used for paragraph. Whenever we want to write a bigger paragraph in the website, we use P tag, right? Simple. H heading and P for paragraph text, right? And let's see. I'm sharing my screen here, and let's see how we can write these things, right? So this is the last project that I have been working with, and let me start the live server. So install live server if you are using VS Code, right? ID. Okay. So as you can see, this is the basic website, and I'm going to write all the tags, right? Let me write H1, sorry, H2, and this is. I'm copying paste everything, right? H1, H2, H3. This is H3, H4, H4. One more time. H5, H5. This is H6, right? One more time. H6. Okay. So let me start the live server here at the bottom right corner, right? Okay, so as you can see, what we have, this is the H1, right? And this is H2, H3, H4, H5, right? So based on the requirement, right, we can, it doesn't matter. Let's suppose I'm passing a style over here, style, font, font size is, let's suppose, 46 pixels, right? So we can even make it bigger than H1 tag, right? But these are important when for the SEO, right? To use, you can based on requirement, you can modify using styles, you can change everything. But yeah, this is the way of using the text, right? We'll talk about another tag called P, which is for bigger text. So yeah, this is the paragraph tag, right? Based on the requirement, we can use, right? This is okay. Now let's take an example of another thing, right? Let's see. I have taken a simple container, right? So main container, right? So this is the main container. I'm commenting as well. If you have any doubts, you can go through the these notes, right? You can see why we are using. So this is the main container. I'm removing this right inside the body. So inside the body we have a single container, right? And inside that, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to, okay, I'm planning first. Let me share my screen here, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. Okay. So let's suppose this is the website, right? And inside that, what we have, this is the header part, right? This is the header part, and this is footer, right? This is footer, and let's suppose, let me take those things. This is left side, and this is right side, right? I'm building the same UI using HTML, right? I can make a simpler, or like simpler. I'll make it simpler, and I'll use a simple CSS as well, right? Okay, so So main, so what is this? Main is what? This one, right? So this is the main one. So I've already created main. And inside that what we have, you can, if you can, see, so this is the first container. This is the, okay. This is the first container, right? Which is main. Inside that what we have two containers, right? One and two and three containers. Yes. Okay, so let me put three first and then I'll go deeper, right? So I'll say, okay, this is it. Okay. And inside that we have three, right? And what I'm gonna do is, let's suppose I'll say head, and suppose it's a hero, and what I'll do, the third one is for foot. So this is we have. So we have three inside main. We have three. So main is a container. So this complete is a container, right? Just try to understand, right? This is the main container. Inside that what we have, head first, second, this don't see inside we have two container, doesn't matter, we are taking the first container, right? So this is the first, so inside that first, second and third, so we have three containers here, right? So this is first, right? And so this is first, right? And I'll say this is second, and this is what the third one, right? So we have three containers inside the main container. I have commented as well, right? For your simplicity, right? And now if you see closely inside the second container, we have two containers, right? Left and right. Why don't we create? Just go in the second container, try create. Okay, let me create left. Let me comment here as well. Left, awesome. And we have got right, right. And right containers, right? So I have already used what I have done so far. Let me go through this, right, once again. Okay. So, so this is the outer container, right? If you see, inside that we have header number one. Inside that we have number second, and then we have three containers. Why don't I name that all, right? So inside main we have first. I'll say okay. I'll use okay, awesome. And what I'll say, this is the left part, this is the right part, right? So where inside the hero we have left also, I'll use it left, and inside right, I'll say okay, right, and the footer I'll say okay, this is footer, awesome. So let me right click, format the document. Once I go live, I should see everything. Okay, this is the header, this is the left part, this is the right part. But yeah, we can see everything in a column format, right? One after one. But what we want in a structured format, right? What we want in this way, right? Okay, this should look like this, this should look like this. Oh, don't worry, because this is a specific for HTML video. So I'm going to add a basic CSS to make the similar kind of things, right? Okay, so now what we have already CSS file attached, right? And we know the class's name. So rather attaching the CSS file, I'm writing the internal CSS here, right? Why I'm writing internal CSS? Because I want to see the class names, right? Internal CSS. Okay. So the first thing is what we have main class, right? So inside main, what I'm going to do is I'm going to background class, make it, right? And let's see width is 100 pb. This is the 100 pb means whatever the screen we have, I'm taking the entire width of the screen, right? And we have height is 100. We have 100, right? So based on the screen size, we are taking the entire, right? And okay, that is good. Nothing fancy I'm taking. And one more thing is this by default thing. So we have to remove those conceptual padding 0 and margin 0, and we have to other write one more thing called box sizing is border box, right? Simple. Once we write, we'll see the extra part from the this part we can we'll do, right? Awesome, nothing fancy. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use CSS here. Okay, whenever we are working with these kind of things, the box part and those kinds, we need one thing. Keep in mind that we need to learn. We need to learn the like first either learn CSS like Flexbox, either learn about Flexbox, either learn Flexbox, right? Either learn or learn grid, CSS grid, right? So I'm using CSS Flexbox here, right? Why CSS Flexbox and what is Flexbox and grid in the CSS? uh, I'll talk both of them in the detail in the CSS part, CSS video. But in shorter, I would say whenever we are working with containers inside container, whenever we want to make the UI, right, we want to put something in the left, right, whatever we do, we use CSS, right. Whenever we want to organize the containers in the web page, right, based on our requirements, we use Flexbox to move or shift the containers or whatever the UI view we want to create, right. So we use these box models, right. These are the box models to create such kind of UIs, right? So I'm using CSS Flexbox over here. Right? Okay. So now I'm inside the main. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to display property. I'm going to flex, so which is means Flexbox, right? And whenever I'm writing display flex, right? Inside Flexbox, we have lot of properties, like we have flex direction, right? We have rows, columns, row reverse, row columns, right? Column reverse. So row in row, right? So we want a column format, right? Because one after another, simple. And we want justify content in the center, right? We want the content should be in the center from top and bottom, right? And if we want to mark, like put these items in the center, what we need to use align item, right? What we use align item is called center, right? We'll put the data from right in the center, right? So whenever we're using Flexbox, which is comes in the display property, so the first thing we need to use display. If you use grid here, right, we can't use these things. We have a different way of partitioning, because Flexbox is a what I say the 2D way, right? And CSS Flexbox, the three-dimensional way, right? The dimensional or 1D or 2D or 3D way, right? To putting the data or putting the containers in the view, right? So that is a very different thing. I'll talk everything the detail in the CSS video. So this is a specific HTML that I'm using a Flexbox, which is very simple, right? So yeah. So I'm not going to talk about grid over here. So yeah, whenever you're using flex, use display flex, right? Let me zoom in here a bit. Okay, and use flex direction in the column. If we say flex direction row, each container will go one after one, right? If you want column, one after one from top to bottom, right? So keep in mind. And default is a flex direction is what our row, right? And justify content left to right, align atom top to bottom. So top to bottom and align atom is right. Simple, right? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is let me make it okay. Uh, so so main is the father container, right? The top container, right? And inside that we have three containers. The first is head, hero, and then what we have foot, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a different color in each. The first thing is main, and then second was it. Okay, background color is correct. Awesome. And again we have hero, right? Same way, right? Background color is echo. Awesome. And we have foot, right, which is a footer. And let me select the background is this, right? Okay. So what you can see, the color is changed, right? This is the color. Okay. Okay. So let's think this again. So when I put the display flex inside the main container, inside the parent container, the inside child's behavior is changed, right? So in the same way, let's suppose we have two childs here, right? Two childs in the hero section. If you want to change the position behavior of the inside containers, we can use again the parent containers of these, and we can like we can shift the childs as well, right? This is how what you need to do is just copy this and put inside the hero. Simple. And instead of flex column, make it flex row. What you can see the inside child components direction is changed from column to row, right? So based on our requirement, we are getting closer to our final result. What final result supposed to be? We want the header here, we want left here, right here, footer here. What we are getting here is we are getting the top, okay, header, left here, right here, okay. Now one more thing, just try to put the size, right, the height of the container. As we have make the height 100, we have to put the height of these as well, right? Let's suppose this is complete 100, so we can divide the height of those things as well, right? Let's suppose this is 40, or sorry, this is 30, this is 30, 60, and this is 40. Otherwise, make this 20, make this 20, and this one is what? Again, rest, right? The 60, do that. Okay, in the head, just say, okay, height is 20%, right? Because 100 of 100 height of 20% is 20%, right? 20 view. Okay, now put everything in detail. I want 20% height of footer as well, but so make it make this 60%, right? 60%. You can see, and fix the width also. So width is the suppose, let's take 90%. Okay, let me copy paste the width as well, right? And let me format the code. You can see. And one more thing, we have things like padding and margin in CSS, right? Because we generally use these things. So let me tell you these things first, right? If I clear you can use easily. The first thing is called padding, right? And the second thing is margin, right? Okay. So let's suppose this is a container, right? And let's suppose whenever we want a space from outer space, which comes under margin, and whenever we want a space from inner, comes under padding. Simple as that, right? Whenever we have a container, we want, okay, we want a container away from a specific container, that is called margin. And if we want inside a space, which is called the padding in the container. Simple. Let's see, I'll see you what it is. As in this website, we don't have any space on top and bottom as we have in the left and right. If we want a space from top and bottom as well, what we want? We want padding of this container. Which one is this container? This is the main container, right? Inside space. So if we say, okay, we want padding of 10%, whatever it is, let's suppose 10%. So 10% from each side, it will give the, let me fix the 100% height. Okay, okay, so as we can see, we have come same space from here and here as well. So let's suppose I say, okay, not 10%, let me fix to 2%. The 2% of padding from the both sides. Let's suppose we want the space from these things, right? This is stacking, right? This is attaching to the next container. If you want, these are two ways, right? Either we say, okay, this container could be get away from this margin. Okay, let me do this. Let's suppose we have a head. We want, okay, margin bottom. If we say margin of 10 pixels, right? So it will take margin from each side 10 pixels, right? Other, if we say, okay, 0 pixels, 10 pixels, 100 pixels, right? So what it will do, it will start from top, right, bottom, and left, right? So what it will do, it will go top, okay, 10%, 10 pixels, right, 0 pixels, as we have in the code, and then in the bottom we have 10, and the left we have 100 pixels, and this is the way of writing CSS. And if you say, okay, 10 pixels, which means each side 10 pixels equal to side. And if we say, okay, margin bottom, specific, so it will take only margin from the bottom. If you say, okay, margin from the margin left, so it will take margin from left. You can see here, right, clearly the margin part is the index, right? So once you see the website, once you read the documentations, you will see a lot of things, right? That's why I recommend to watch and like read the articles, read the documentation part. Those are very important because a 30-minute video will not teach you the entire CSS or the HTML part, right? What I can do, I can at least try to give you, I can at least try to motivate you here, right? So yeah, these things are a journey, right? Once you daily practice, once you try to gather information, try to learn, make your own notes, right? Practice every day, right? If you're stuck somewhere, try to ask for help from anyone, your friends, your seniors, me, anyone, right? If you have elder brothers who are working in tech, they can help you out, right? Because if you're not curious, no one can help you, right? uh, okay, now let's move to the things. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to only say, okay, we have margin of 10 pixels. Let's see, the same way of writing like CSS is a multiple way. The same CSS is writing in a shorter way, but I'm taking a bit older way. But yeah, I just want to teach you, right? So what I'm going to take, I'm taking a margin from each side 10 10 10 pixels, as simple as that, right? So if one more thing, if you want to make these corners better, you can do go that in the header. Okay, say border radius 10 pixels. Again, if you see 10 pixels, it will automatically apply each side 10 pixels. If you say 10 pixels, 100 pixels, 30 pixels, 0 pixels, it will again top, right, left, bottom, bottom, left. Simple, right? Simple ways of writing, right? So let me write here 100, and 100 pixels, better, 30 pixels, 0 pixels. Awesome. This is the header part. Okay. One more thing. We have a head, right? And so this is the head part, and inside that we have H1. Okay. So if we want to target the H1, right? If we want to target H1, so we have head part here, right? So right this way, head, and we have H1, right? Inside head, what we have H2. So H1, if you say color is green, simple, we can say color is green, we can change color. If we write directly H2 color green, whenever, like in the page, wherever on the page there's H2 tag, it will apply the color. But if you want to specifically change the head, inside head container there is one or multiple H2 tags are used, just try to change the color. And if you want to center, just say okay, text text line is center, right? It will say text line in the center part, right? It is in the center part, right? Okay, one more thing is what we want this part to be complete left and right, right? Okay, so as we have this part, we have already, we can fix the length of these parts as well, right? So inside hero sections we have two classes, left and right. Either we can directly select a left class, or we can select a hero and inside left, same as head, head, inside head what we have h2, right? So go to the hero, right? So we can do in the two ways, right? The first way, what we can do, we can directly select the left part, right? We can directly select left part and say okay, this is the whatever the background color you want to do, it will apply. Okay, but if you want to make it organized way, so you can do this way. Okay, okay, so same thing, nothing different, right? You'll say okay, inside hero container we have another container or a class called dot, like left class, we are selecting this, right? In the same way we can select, let's see, if you write this way, this is the mostly beginner friendly, right? You don't mess with your code, right? You at least remember where you are working, right? If you try to use very shortcut, most of the time you'll stuck, right? Just try to use write a better code, like later once you know these things you'll try everything. In the same way, we'll fix the like width, right? So let's fix the width to, let's suppose, 60 pb, right? I want this part to be 60 pb and this to be the 40, right? So it will take this way. Let's take height, fix height, right? uh, 100%. It is taking 100% of height. Okay, fix this. Awesome. If we want the inside this container, we want some extra space like this, we can use padding in the main container. This is main container. We'll say okay, I need some sort of padding here, right? Padding of 10 pixels. You'll see a difference, right? Or if you want much, why don't we do 20 pixels? Awesome. And if you want any extra space, I will say okay, I'll go come here and I'll say okay, margin right of 10 pixels. I'll say definitely the margin. If you want to put these things in here in the center, what you'll say, right? We have, let's see, come to the code here. Inside hero we have what, we can write this way as well. Inside main we have hero, we have left, we have what, we have right, we have the, because this is the main container, we are targeting only, we can write direct class names as well, doesn't matter, but at least try to write your like immediate parent class name. So what is the immediate parent name? We have left. H1's immediate parent name is left. So inside left, like H1 inside what? Left. So where is this is right, right? Either you will write this one. Left H1. Right? Color is, let's take brown color, right? Inside H1 we have what? Uh, or we can write this way, so it doesn't matter. If you write this way, you will, I think this is the better way of writing these things, because you'll see here, let me zoom out a bit or zoom in, and this see hero is the parent one. Inside that we have a child left. Inside that we have another tag h1, right? You'll see how organized your code is. Let's suppose if you want to change some uh, right portion, right? Just copy paste these things. Okay, inside we have another h1, and I want to the color to be uh, any different color, right? Just go to the this color. Okay, which is h1 in the right h1. In the right, okay, sorry, we have in the right we have h2. Simple. We'll see the color has been changed. Right? If you want make it center, text line, center here. Right? If you want the center, it will, this will complete it. Right? So yeah, based on the requirement, I have done all the things, right? Based on the design we have, whatever we have designed so far, we have done here. Okay. So this is how we use generally CSS, right? So based on the requirement we have in the, as you can see in the design here, what we have header part, right? This was the header part we have done. This is the dev left, hero left, and this is the footer, right? If we go to the, this is the things, right? So we have header, we have this is left, this is right part, right? Simple, doesn't matter. And yeah, this is how we use css. This is how we use html here. Okay, things. Now let's come to the important thing here. Let's see, whatever we are building here, we are not using any semantic tag type. Now I'm going to change this in semantic tag, right? I have learned that we have semantic elements. Let's see, this is the header part, right? This is the header part, but what we have used div is used for the create the container, right? But we know that in the header we have semantic term called header, right? Either we use head, if we have inside links, we use names, right? So I'm using header here, right? Rather using the div, we can use header here, right? So nothing change. And in the foot, this is the footer part. We don't use any div, rather we use the footer, a specific element for a specific thing, right? Let's suppose inside this header we have some list, right? We have list. We use nav links, right? Inside nav we use nav links, right? For the search engine optimizations, right? If you want to rank your website in the SEO better, so use these elements, right? Okay, these semantic tags, very important, right? And whenever you don't know the exact tag, use div sections. Let's suppose the hero is a section, right? Use section here, right? So make this a section. Inside that we have another section. So we can use, it doesn't matter. We can use section inside section, right? As same as we are using the div inside div, right? Same thing, it will not change. But yeah, it gives one more flexibility. Rather attaching the class, we can directly call these things. Let's see. Let's suppose we have a section, right? We can directly, if you want to make each section like border something, right? We can use section and we use border 1 pixel solid. Okay. So for it is whenever we have a section, let's see. Let me zoom in. This is a section. This is a section, right? So the border is already applied. What do you want, right? So this is the beauty of using these things. Let's see, if you want to apply for troubleshooting, right? Whenever you are working with a website, you may have a lot of issues, right? You are working with the website, you are building it, and you have responsiveness issues. You are trying to figure out what is breaking in the small devices. So we mainly use this border 1 pixel solid, right? We apply for each div containers, so we can clearly see this tag is taking this height, this h2 or h1 is taking this height, right? This is taking this height. Okay, so whatever we have elements tags, we can clearly see the height, how much width that they are taking. right? It will, let's see, this is a container, inside we have footer, which is h1. So these are taking this height, right? You're getting the point, right? Okay. So this is the beauty of CSS, right? And using these things, we try to make the website better, visible website, better website, right? And generally we don't use CSS, right? We don't write this way CSS. Rather, what we use in CSS, we use the Tailwind CSS, right? So this is a CSS, right? A utility for CSS framework, right? For building the applications, right? So we have a class. We rather writing the separate CSS files, we write the CSS inline CSS, right? Inline CSS this way, right? This way we're writing quite easier syntax, but very important production levels applications are built using the Tailwind CSS, right? Okay, and yeah, this is where I've covered all the things. And the last thing is cover the forms, right? How to make forms, how to make lists, right? Everything. So let's come to the uh, tutorial of W3 school, right? I've covered these things, right? Standings, paragraphs, CSS, colors, right? And yeah, one more thing is image, right? How to use image in the website. Okay, let's take an example and try to use an image tag as well whenever you want to set some image in website. Let's take an example of here, and in the right section let's set an image, right, and see how we can image set. So for image we have img tag, right? Inside source we can find or set any source, right? So let me find the free image source URL here, right, which I can use in the website. So right click, copy image address, right? And in the source, we just put the source URL, and the in alternative is image, right? If alt here, alt is used if sometimes the URL is not working, some issues with the URL. So it will say, okay, there is an image, right? There's a logo, there is a thumbnail, any kind of image, right? This text will say, okay, there was an image, there might something happened, so that's why the image is not visible. So yeah, but it will tell you something about its position. Okay, so this is how we put images in the website. Again, if you want to apply some CSS, either we use the image here. Let's suppose I want to change the border radius of 10 pixels, right? I want to make simple, right? If I want to anything, right? If I want to take a border of 10 pixel, right? Solid green. So this is how we can apply. Okay. But this is the first way. Our directly select to the element. If we don't, we can class. We can put a class as well. Okay. Image. So we can target this class as well. For selecting the class, we use dot operator. Simple. Directly. Nothing fancy. We can fix the size. We can make a width is. We can make it bigger or smaller based on requirement. 100 pixels, 1000 pixels. Simple. This is breaking the entire website because we are passing because the site, this website has the page has the limited site, but we are trying to access more than the actual site. That's why this is overflowing the entire website. Right? Some website has serious issues. You may have all of these things. Right? All right. So like, so this is how we upload images. You can do a lot of things with the images. And then one more thing is, let's go to the next thing. We're not talking about these things. We've already talked about classes, tips, and all those things. We have, let's see, we have a lot of things in HTML, so I'm taking this better. And let's talk about one of the importance of forms, right? How to handle forms, right? How we use forms in HTML. So again, for the forms, we have form elements, right? We have a form tag we use. So let's see in the right section. Let me create a form here, right? Again, if we start with the form, so it will again this is the closing and let's go how we use. Let's see in the form what we have some text field, we have some label, like let me copy paste these things, right? I'm not writing this code again. So go to the website, you can see, so this is, so this is the form I'm using, right? And why we are using form, let's suppose let's suppose you are using a website, right, where you want to register yourself. The forms are used over here. So in the forms what we say, we have some sort of buttons to select the gender, right? And some input fields to fill the data, some input fields for fill the numbers, right? We can fix those things. Let's suppose these are for the first name and last name, right? Okay. Let me copy here and for the mobile, right? Mobile number. Input type is we can fix the input types. Input types we can say okay is a number, right? If it's an input type is a number and try to write the alphabets we can't write. We can only write numbers only, right? So this is the beauty of HTML here. We can fix. Let's suppose if you say date here, so what we can do? We can access the date element here. We can select the date, right? In the forms we can do a lot of things. We have a lot of things. We can verify the emails as well in the forms without the backend interaction. Let's suppose we are writing the email, and we have these things. But if you try to submit, it will show the errors, right? So let me create a complete form here. And let's go to the next one. Let me create. So okay, so this is how we use forms in HTML. There's a PHP attached, but we are not using PHP here. Where in future we'll use JavaScript. Right? I'll teach you JavaScript as well. How to use JavaScript, the functions, methods, way of writing JavaScript code. How to use Node.js to write your first ever JavaScript program. Right? Okay, so about the syntax. Right? If you have any idea of any other programming language, you can write as well. Doesn't matter. Okay. Let's see. If I try to cover those things, we have a lot of things. Right? How to upload videos, we have a lot of things, right? I'm not going to talk about the advanced topic here. Like we create a button, right? We have a button element, right? We have button element to uh, interaction with the button size. Let's suppose we have this right clicking. So this is the button. Simple. But once I attach JavaScript here, we remove this. Okay. So this is how we use JavaScript for interactions, right? So button is used. Let's suppose you have a form and you fill all the details. Once you click on the button, it will API called backend calls, right? It will do validations, gives the result, give you the login access, simple things, right? So forms are very useful, right? Everything is useful in the HTML or your tips, right? If you want, just take your time, just try to go through these things, try to build your simple projects, right? The more you make your hands dirty with these codings and stuff, the more you learn, right? So the more you are in practice, okay? So yeah, I think I have covered all the things, basic things. I'm not talking about the advanced topics here. So I just want to give you the the environment of learning things, self-taught things, right? Because if you get started with these things, this is the better way of learning things. So just try to learn these things, right? This is the best website I would say recommend you, right? For the beginner purpose, if you have some idea of some hands-on idea, then you can move to the other websites. You can learn a lot of things. I'm not telling you that you should learn from the responsiveness and everything. Just try to make your first ever project. Just try to like write your first ever code, right? This summer actually. If you if you get started with these things, this is the best way. Okay, so just try to cover all those things here. Okay, and if you want, I can share the website links, everything, right? If you're stuck anywhere, just try to get help from others, your help from your seniors, anyone you can ask for help, right? So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching this video, and I think I've covered the basic stuff today, and yeah, thank you so much. And one more thing is a huge shout out to the entire team of MANUU Connect who are working continuously. Right, the team is working, everyone is working. Right, so thank you so much, guys, for working with us, and your working, your motivations uh, motivates us as well, right? Because if you are with us, we are as a team, right? So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching this video.